Hi, everyone. This is Chris Grosso with the Indie Spiritualist podcast, and my guest today is someone I'm super thrilled to have, R.A., the Rugged Man, hip hop legend. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Nah, thank you for having me. Like we were saying before we hit record, it was a long day for both of us. So
Yes.
my son has a ear infection, so he didn't sleep all last night. I had to stay up with him. He stayed home from the kindergarten, and then I had to go get my daughter from the kindergarten with my sick son, and then he stayed up, and they finally passed out about 20 minutes before this show started. So I'm on no sleep. So don't expect no quick-witted sound bites and shit. It's just me talking. So,
We keep it
Um,
real here.
and I don't have loud animated shit going on because I gotta talk like this because the babies, if they wake up, I'm fucked, you know.
Totally understand. So, yeah, I'm up on you about 2 hours on the sleep front. I have allergies, but yeah, well, like we were talking before we started, we'll go through this. We'll see what happens, and I'm just really excited to have you on the show. I quickly want to read your bio just for any listeners that aren't familiar with you. So bear with me a moment, please. R.A. the Rugged Man is one of the most fascinating figures in hip hop history. His career spans decades and defies simple narratives. The Rugged Man has been an up and coming star, an industry outcast, banished and forgotten, an underground cult hero, an independent success story, and an influential master of the art form. He can obliterate rappers with ferocious battle rhymes, craft heartfelt personal songs fans can relate to, offend sensitive listeners with shocking vulgarity, challenge corrupt politicians and corporations, paint pictures with captivating storytelling, and deliver jaw-dropping flows that prove his lyrical skills are unmatched. 100%. He's also worked with a staggering number of hip-hop's most respected artists, including legends like the Notorious B.I.G., Wu-Tang, Tech-9, Rakim, Mobb Deep, Talib Kweli, Kool G Rap, Public Enemy, Brother Ali, and more. And while others struggle to maintain a foothold in the ever-changing rap landscape, R.A. the Rugged Man is the rare artist who has become more relevant with time, with each new album more compelling than the last. And man, that doesn't even do justice.
Well, who the fuck wrote that? That wasn't that bad. I thought it was
No,
good. I was like,
no,
damn, sounds
your
right.
boy
Yeah,
Matt sent that to me, and that's
yeah.
it's all true.
Oh, Matt from the label. I wonder if he wrote
Yeah,
it. I wonder who wrote it. The professionally well done bio. I like it.
yeah.
Thumbs up. I usually shit on the label for everything they do. If they wrote that one, it sounds good to me. You know.
Well, I'm glad you like it. So I figure there's a lot of terrain I want to cover with you in the time we have, but of course, I want to start with All My Heroes Are Dead. And I'm not just saying this totally honestly, that so far, this is my favorite album of 2020, hands down, without a doubt. I love all different kinds of music. I'm very eclectic, but this record is just, uh, it's hard for me to put into words. Like, what I love about, like you say in Legendary Loser, your hip hop's Frank Zappa. And that's what I love about this record. You take listeners on such a ride from really emotional songs that I want to unpack a few with you in a few minutes, but also, your classic, like silly, vulgar, thought provoking, everything. So, all that to say, can you take me back to before you started recording the record and talk about the original vision you had for this album and if and how it kind of elaborated or changed as you were working on it?
Well, shout out to the Dawn of the Dead post in the back, first of
Oh,
all.
we're going to get
Rest
to horror too.
rest in
Thank you.
peace, Romero. But no, no,
He
no.
signed, just real quick, he signed that. I got to interview him a few years, well, before he
Oh wow.
passed.
George was a
Yeah.
nice guy too, right? Everybody I know that
Such a
knows
dude.
George. I
Yeah.
never heard a bad word about him.
No, real
So,
deal.
so yo, my fridge started making crazy noises. Did you hear that?
I did hear that.
But I was like, is the interview over? No, well, the album with the way I started working on songs, I didn't have a vision for the album.
Okay.
Like right now, if I start to do a new album, I don't have a vision. I have no idea where to even go with it yet.
Sure.
And the way I did it last time, I was touring a lot, so I just go in the studio and start making records. I got a great engineer, Chris Conway. I got a great production team, and I just start working on music and see what happens. And then as it was going, I made a bunch of good songs, but it didn't feel like something I cared about or was that, it felt like some good rap songs. So I kind of just deaded it. Sad. fuck it, And then I just started again, and then it all started kind of shaping itself into, like, since you're a fan of the album, it's
Yes.
kind of like an orchestrated musical number. It's like, like, and even like a lot of things get dramatic in the album. The music is kind of composed around the drama. It's like
Yeah,
from the intro to the outro. It's all kind of like a big theatrical, piece, and it
definitely.
all kind of just slowly fell together like that. And as I was making it, I knew I started knowing what I wanted and how I wanted to go, and I realized what was missing from the album, what we needed to get that in order. And I just started kind of making things for what, like a puzzle box. And
Right.
when we were finished with it, me and the engineer were just very, very happy. And the engineer, Chris Conway, one of the greatest mixing engineers ever, he
Yeah.
mixed records for all the greats and worked with all the greats. And he started crying on the train listening to it. And he said, "Hey, this is the album I'm most proud of out of everything I ever worked on." And he's worked with like all the greats. So I was like, wow,
Yeah.
come from you, Chris. So we knocked it out the park together. We were really proud of it. And it's not just me, y'all, I'm a genius. It's not that.
Right.
I had, the world's greatest DJs on set. I had the world's greatest MCs on set. I had
Yeah.
like tremendous musicians from all over the planet helping. And like, so yeah, I had a lot to do with the making of the album, but I couldn't have done it without everybody involved. There was really a lot of greats involved with making it. So, and I'm real proud of it. And I know I pulled off what I was going for with it. I'm really, I'm my worst critic. I'm like always like,
I hear
that's
you.
not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not right. This isn't right. And sometimes when you get something right, you just feels right. You got it right, So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So I'm
definitely
glad
got it
you were
right.
able to see the vision and feel what we
Yeah.
did, because I'm very proud of it. So I appreciate you understanding what we tried to do with that.
100%. Fully. The fact that it's like a 75, 80 minute record, that in and of itself is so impressive. Like, and for me, there's not a single skippable track. And that's rare. Like, usually there's always a skippable track, but this record does not have that. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
I
go ahead.
might agree with you because there are songs that I made for some of the degenerates that
Yep.
I knew were gonna get like bad reviews from like pretentious ass motherfuckers. And,
Right.
and some people go, you got a really commercial, well made album. Do you really want those songs that are going to ruin it on there? I'm like, of course I want those songs on there.
Hell
And
yeah.
those are going to be my degenerate, scumbag, psychopath fans that were with me from day one's favorite song.
Yeah.
So of course I'm not going to take those off. So I guess it depends where you are mentally. And then on the flip side of that, I do have the emotional, softer moments on the album where I'm
No
really
doubt.
trying to dig into the hearts, pull them heartstrings, and they might be the degenerate scumbags' least favorite song. So I always said, like, if I made a simple album where it was kind of 10 songs, kind of on a serious tip, political a little bit of life change and this and
Yeah.
that, a couple flows. If I made a simple album, I think the critics would understand it so more, way more easier, because you're not,
Sure.
but and because a lot of times critics too, they it's been the way from the beginning of history. Comedy, they don't understand when you're kind of being
Right.
sarcastic and gross and comedic and over the top. They feel like the Academy Award winners, the person died and they're crying tears and it's sad, and that's the Academy.
Right.
But if you're doing a Marx brother falling over the table, spitting shit out and eating a phone like Harpo Marx, then you're not, that's not the real shit. That's dumb stuff. So meanwhile, Harpo Marx eating a phone is 10 times more intelligent than some girl dying in a movie and the other girl crying and they get the Academy Award. It's like,
Yeah.
so I like to do dumb shit that's, a little bit more intellectual than those people are able to see.
100%. See, I'm equal parts degenerate and somewhat adjusted. Like, we'll get into this later. I've been through a lot of mental health issues myself, which is part of what I really love about your record. and you always keep it very real. But before we get to that, um, going back to you were saying all the legends you have on this record, from Cool G Rap to Ghostface, Chuck D, Immortal Technique, and I mean on and on. Can you talk about how that all came together? Like they all showed up for you in a big way.
Yeah, well, I was while I was working on the records, I just said, who would be the perfect person for this record, and I wanted a mash out type stomp you out record. And, I started with me and Chris Rivers and Paz on that
Yeah.
Slayers Club joint. And then
Yeah.
I was like, and I put together chorus like a rowdy, because I want that song when you do it at the show, you got the mosh pits going and the
For
stomping.
sure.
You want a couple of
Yeah.
those high energy, real punch in your face kind of records. And then and I knew it had to be a posse cut, but then I'm like, yo, you want to mash them out fucking song, get the mash out posse, get MOP. So I hit up MOP and Fame and Billy and then when I got Billy and them on it, I was like, yo, bring in the OG, Ice T, the original gangster, one of the
Iceberg.
OGs of
Yeah.
the game, like
Yeah.
before there was any of these other Hollywood gangster rappers, Ice T was before all of them. So, there's Schoolie D, and there's, Ice T and Just Ice. And, so Ice came in with that gun talk and the
Yeah.
murder talk. And so things just felt, kind of went into place, and it just kind of all, what do I need here? What do I need there? I know there was a moment when I had a track and I needed something kind of mellow and dope, and I wanted it to be a posse cut of some sort. And I was looking towards like a Run Your Jewels or a De La Soul or something, but that didn't
Right.
happen. But I mean, I got everybody else on the planet that I wanted. In fact, so it's a blessing when things don't happen because then something else happens. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, so.
Got to give a shout out to Onyx too on that. They're been a lifelong Onyx fan, so I was
Well,
psyched to
Onyx,
see them on that.
MOP,
Yeah.
Brand Nubian, we
Yeah, of
really
course.
brought out the banging, the masters on there. And Coogee
Yeah.
Rap, originally the Dragonfire song, I was figuring, why not a Wu-Tang type of joint?
Yeah.
Ghostface and then Master Killer and maybe Raekwon or something.
Yeah.
And but I had already had a joint with Deck.
Yep.
So and Ray, I was having trouble, locking Ray in, and then I was like, it doesn't have to be a Wu Tang or what are you doing? I'm like, who's your favorite rapper on the planet? Who would murder this beat more than anybody? Coogee Rap.
Yeah.
Hit up Coogee Rap, sent it to him, and he gave me just this ridiculously, incredibly masterful G rap the way he does it, and he
Yeah.
eats motherfuckers up, and he came with his A game. I was really I was jumping around, bouncing around the freaking room when he did that verse, like excited. So a lot of
Yeah.
a lot of greatness on the record, man. A lot of great things on the record. A lot of things that even if I wasn't on the record, I would be very happy.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you are. You came in and you crushed your verse, and I want to
but
shout
then,
out to you. Put out a
but
really cool. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
but then you get most people aren't complaining, but then yeah, oh, I wish he didn't have so many features. But idiots have to understand. I gave them like 13 or 14 solo tracks before the
Right.
feature. Like there's 20 tracks on it. And I gave him I
Right.
think 13 solo tracks. And I did a lot of ass rapping. Like there's certain songs with 4 verses, certain songs with 3 long verses. So like the amount of
Yeah.
rapping I did in them 12 or 13 tracks is more rapping than people do on 2 or 3 albums. So
For
nobody
yeah.
can complain, oh, too many features. Nah, 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 nah. We made a solid we made sure to make it not feel like that. So
No. Yeah. Definitely. I love like the
yeah,
song for your
more than
daughter.
enough.
Sorry. I was just gonna say,
Uh,
sorry. The song for your daughter where you're like you're done, and then you come back and like, no, fuck it. You do another verse, and because that's
well,
just you're doing what you feel.
that wasn't on purpose. You know what happened was uh, I was working on that song and I made a chorus, and it was a song I wanted my sister, my daughter to love, and my daughter to want to listen to. And, after I'm gone, she'd still listen to the song. So every chorus I was coming up with, didn't feel good enough to me, you know. And I
Mm.
was trying all these different choruses, and then Novel, who's a great rapper and songwriter and singer, and he's I think he was nominated for Grammys in 5 different categories, from like country to R&B to he's
Wow.
like a really undercover great. And his grandfather was Solomon Burke. His father was like one of the biggest writers for Motown. He wrote like Dancing in the Street and all of those big, huge
Wow.
records,
Yeah.
stuff from Marvin Gaye, and he just comes from a musical family. So I hit up Novel and I said, "Listen, I got this song that's important to me. I need you to knock it out the park." So he did a whole verse though. He did the dope chorus, but then he threw a verse in there. And I was like, I already got 3 verses to my daughter on this. I can't but then I was listening to his verse. I was like, yeah, but you can't take that off. It's so dope. And I
Right.
said, you know what? If I keep my verse, the song is too long. I mean, uh, not too long. And what's supposed to happen, it's too long. So that's why I made the joke. I said, I know the song's supposed to be over, but I got to
Right.
give you another one. Boom. And people actually really love that we did that. And I'm an old school cat where songs now is supposed to be over after 2 minutes and 12 seconds to, boom, boom.
Right.
Uh, let's go back to the originators where they was doing 13-minute raps
Yeah.
and 10-minute songs and 8-minute songs and extended versions. So the song is still, if I'm not mistaken, under 5 minutes. So it
Yeah.
all worked out properly. It all worked out really well. And I'm very, really proud of that record.
Yeah, no doubt. And before we move on, there's a couple of songs
Cool.
we've already talked about a
Personal.
lot of. There's I'm sorry, your video is breaking up a little bit, so I'm sorry if I'm interrupting you. You're freezing a little bit. I hear your audio fine, but apologies if I'm interrupting.
No, you're not.
Just
I'm
yeah.
interrupting by accident. It's fine.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Um, so two songs that I wanted to have you walk me through it if you don't mind was the first one, "Gotta Be Dope," with your protege Afro, who is just, he slays it, as do you. And I mean, when I heard that, like, I I couldn't believe it. I had to listen to it like 3 times to get, like, wrap my head around that song, and still wasn't wrapped around it. So can you talk to me about, like, and DJ Jazzy Jeff is on that as well, who, icon. So, can you tell me a little bit about putting that song together with Afro? And I mean, you rap so fast. If I remember or read correctly, you are the clocked in as the fastest rhymer, correct?
No, I seen that meme that was out there. What happened was they said, "Oh, beat the fastest. I don't know. I guess in the hit record or whatever, the fastest for the rap god or something."
Uh-huh.
So somebody took both of the rhymes, mine and M's, and mine's faster. So
Uh,
it's like I think he was 11.8 or something. I was 12.5. I don't remember exactly, but my
sure.
rhyme was more words per second. It was a faster rhyme. And was it Rap God or the other one? I don't know, whatever the fuck one it was. But they said,
Right.
"Oh, get this book or whatever." And but no, my rhyme's faster. So somebody made a meme of that and showed it. And the reason that song happened was and I don't think M has the Guinness Book of fastness of all songs. I think it was like of a top 10 song or something like that. It's not like,
Sure.
there's guys that do 14 syllables a second and like, or some, I don't know. I don't even know how to count that shit. I don't even do that. I
Right.
don't count syllables. I just rap. So like,
Right.
the way that happened was, me and Afro did a song for my album originally, and he was my protege. And I thought his rap was good, but I knew I was going to eat him up on it. I was like, I'm not going to put my a protege on my album if he gives me something good that I know I'm going to eat him up. He
Right.
has to be like when EPMD used to put rappers on, that rapper would shine, like
Yeah.
they put K Solo on Knick Knack Paddywhack and be like, damn, or like, Redman on Hardcore and like Das Effects on Pop 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 Goes the Nine or whatever. They put Das on things. They would always bring their artists on to like really shine.
Right.
And so when he gave me a good ass verse, I knew I'd eat him. So I've kind of deaded the song. I was like, the song isn't even up to par for the album. The beat's okay. His rhyme's dope. And then I called him. I said, hey, listen, I got this beat. I'm going to send it to you. I sent it to him. And he was like, yo, that beat's crazy. So I said, dope. I said, now I need you to kill me on it. I need you to come from my head and try to fucking splatter my brain. Like, don't give me no cool shit. Go crazy. And then when he gave his verse back, I was like, oh, fuck, what the fuck am I gonna do? This kid, oh, Jesus, this kid, you know? So then I had to lock myself in the room and really, like, 2 days, all those syllable murdering, so that was Afro inspired me to go really hard, because them young kids, they come for your head if you,
Yeah.
if they see blood or whatever, I think the first time he's like, "Oh, RA's my father figure. I love RA, and I'm gonna give him a dope verse, and we're gonna have fun on the track. I don't want to have fun with you, motherfucker. I want you to try to take my head off, you know?
Right. Right.
Come on, motherfucker." So it's a really one of them records where we both going for each other's heads, and we're both very competitive with each other, and I think it turned out to be a great record. And then Jazzy Jeff, one of the greatest scratch DJs of
Yeah.
all time, came in and really, really murdered the cuts for me. So
Totally did.
shout out to the all-time great DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yeah. Awesome. That's so cool. I didn't know that Afro was one who inspired that. Like the flows on that are just mind bending. So, props to
Well,
him for
he
sure.
inspired me to go, because the fast rapping, you want to do it because the fans really love it, But then,
Yeah.
but then, now everybody does it, and everybody does it, and everybody does it, and everybody does it. So you know, I was doing fast flows for decades, and now like that's a
Yeah.
hot topic again. Okay. So you want to go? Okay, I could pull back and do slow better than your slow rappers. So
Right.
then it's like, do I even want to do a fast rap anymore? But then you go, yeah, you want to show the world that you could do it better than all these motherfuckers that are doing it. So do a couple.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes you got to throw them fast flows and say, yo, you kids think you nice. Look what the old man could do. I'll fucking eat you. So
Well, I gotta say, oh,
Afro's a young boy with an old man soul, though. He's like from our era, even though he's not.
right.
He's our era. He's not like
Yeah.
one of these young boys. So,
No, like all the artists he shouts out in his rhyme are like, that's what I grew up on. And that's why I love you is, the people you give respect to, that's what I grew up on too. So super cool to hear that.
is that a Baphomet goat over your shoulder?
It is. Yes. Not satanic. I'm just all over the place. I'm into occultism. Into Hinduism,
I'm like, I'm
Buddhism.
being interviewed by the Baphomet goat, staring at me the whole time.
Yeah, he's placed there intentionally just to fuck with you. But
I'm
oh,
like, okay,
so
I gotta go put my kids back to sleep. I'll see you later. No.
no, it's not like that, I promise. But yeah, before I get into the other song, I in this kind of segues, I work weekly aside from being an author and a public speaker. That's what I do for a living in this podcast. Every week, I go down to a residential mental health facility for teenagers. There's two campuses, one for boys and one for girls, and they're 13 to 19 years old. And um, first of all, sometimes we'll talk about music, and I'll bring my guitar in and play a little bit for them. But whenever I ask them like who they're listening to, it's like little this or little that, and it's like, all right, I don't want to hate on anyone. And they're saying how they're such great rappers, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then I put on your verse from "Gotta Be Dope," and this was like a month ago, and they were all just jaw on the floor, like, wait, who's that? Because they don't know, like they don't
Yeah.
know Slug, they don't know you, they don't know like the really good shit. But anyways, I just wanted to give you respect for that. It was really cool to see them just flip out over
Yeah,
it.
yeah, that's the thing when you play play some of my stuff for people who don't know about. That's why we're always able to grab new fans too, because
Yeah,
like wait, I heard the name, and somebody plays the album, and they go, "Oh my God, this guy!" So like a lot of times it takes a little introducing. So yeah. So
absolutely.
thanks for showing some of your kids what we
Always.
do here in my camp, because we don't have the big online promotion like some of these guys, but we try. Yeah.
Well, it's what I love. You're independent. You do it yourself. You put your money into this. Like, this is you. It's not a team of people. So very DIY, and that's close to my heart too. Um, so yeah, going back to the teens, so I've been doing that for 5 years, and these are young adults that are there for addiction, for suicide attempts, self harm, eating disorders, you name it. And I mean, it's not like a cry for help; they're really in it, and it's very difficult work, heavy heart stuff. But you do this song, "Wondering," off the record, and I'm not too proud to say I cried, man. I cried when I heard that, and sometimes I still cry when I listen to it. The video, the song, it just, it strikes a chord right in my heart. So, I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that song.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Um, that's a song based on quite a few different stories. Even though it's three stories in one, it's still like the second story is based on three different stories and intertwined into one story.
Right.
And the third story, there's a couple other people from the neighborhood that we know. So, they're all based on real characters.
Yeah.
The heroin addiction, obviously, Long Island is crazy right now, and you meet a lot of people who lost loved ones, and then the relationship between the mother losing her child. My stepmother lost two kids, my sister lost her son, so
Yeah.
it's easy to write from that perspective because people who you love a lot have lost their children. So those were the strongest bars, I think, to me at least, that make when the mother loses her kid at the end and she's reminiscing
Oh yeah.
about him being a little boy and baseball and all, little league, and
Yeah.
she's just and I said, how could a mother live? I don't even remember the rhyme, but when she buries her own son, it's
Right.
like, damn. So that was all based on real people, and people who I knew in the neighborhood who were young and they died over that stupid shit. And then
Yeah.
the first verse was, you see, when I first started the song, I started writing it. It was almost like a "Still Get Through the Day" part two. It started like, I was,
Right.
talking about my life and my family, and then I was like, ah, there's too much like that record. I've been there before, but then I was like, you know what though? It's a nice introduction to the other stories, almost some Rod Serling Twilight Zone shit. So I started off with a little 8-bar intro of who I am, what I've been through.
Right.
Boom, go to the chorus, and then we tell the stories of other people. So it's grounded in, hey, this man telling the story been hit a little bit too. So yeah, and then the second story about the woman who was raped, that's based on a real person, and she didn't commit suicide, but I know someone else who committed suicide. So it's a
Sure.
couple that was based on two different events, and I like storytelling, and I think
Yeah.
sometimes when you share stories that people have been through, and it's almost like journalism where you're reporting and you're looking through experiences, and you talk to people who've been through things and you write the story. So or nonfiction writing, or however you want to do. So I like storytelling, and really sometimes when you tell people the story that they've been through, or somebody they know been through, a lot of loss, it really touches people, and
Yeah.
so I like to do those kind of stories, sometimes.
Yeah. So, and I know, I mean, you're very transparent about what you've been through on your albums, and I do want to get into that a little bit with you. But before that, if you don't mind me asking, if you were in a room with like say 15 teenagers, in this mental health facility, what I know like advice is kind of cliche, but what would you say to them? They're like feeling broken, they're feeling hopeless. I mean, they're young and they just already have kind of given up on themselves.
Yeah,
What would you say?
well, the thing is, because I make songs the way I do sometimes, I have those kind of songs. I get a lot of people who are suicidal or going through it,
Yeah,
or lost kids or lost family members, or have, handicapped people, in their family who are suffering. And so a lot of people contact me, and want me to give them advice. And it's not always easy because you don't want to sound pretentious. You don't want to sound like you're just Oh, it's the mother of my kids. I thought it was my son waking up. So that's good. So even if they do wake up, we're covered. Hey, Rini, I thought I'm doing an interview right now. I thought you was one of the kids coming down here. I was like, oh my God. All right. It's recording. I'll talk to you later. But I'm glad it's you and not the kids. All right. How you doing? All right. It's all right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So it's not always easy. What do you tell them? You say, oh, it's gonna get better, but they hear that from everybody,
Right.
or all the loss, all the hurt that's there to strengthen you and give you power, and but it's you could tell them. It's almost like when somebody's going through drug addiction and you want to stop somebody from doing heroin. How do you stop
Yeah.
them? What do you say to them? We love you. People care about you. We need you. That's all true. But how do you convince somebody? So to sit in a
Yeah.
room full of kids that really want to end their lives, you could say, hey, like, look, this is a small part of your life. You're young. Like, trust me. Just give it some time, and few years in the future, it's going to be a new sunshine. It's going to be a new universe for you. You're not even going to worry about the problems you're worrying about today. But does a kid really even digest that or want to hear that or even understand it? So it's
Yeah.
it's a hard thing. What do you tell somebody when they want to hurt themselves? Whether it's drugs,
Yeah.
whether it's a self-inflicted, and thoughts of suicide. You're only one person, and you could try your hardest. You could look them in the eyes and give them honesty and say, hey, the world needs you, the world loves you. I know it seems like the world's against you. I know it seems like everyone hates you. I know it feels like the world will be better without you, and your family will be better without you, but none of that is true. None of it is true you
Right.
know so
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know.
Well, I appreciate that.
The mother of my kids is here. She's hearing me say this stuff. Like, why don't you go listen to yourself? Like, you really have suicide advice for people, you suicidal motherfucker?
Well,
You
I
the last
appreciate what
person could have suicide advice, all right? Like, you be sitting home like this half the time. Nah, I'm just, I don't know.
I appreciate your I would expect nothing less your honesty. And I the way I approach it is I've been through addiction. I've attempted suicide myself, so I've been in psych hospitals. I've been in detoxes, rehabs, jail cells, more emergency rooms than I count. I mean, it's literally a miracle that I'm alive. I was intubated at one point because my
I don't know
blood
what that
alcohol
word
level.
means, what intubated means.
Oh, sorry. So I wasn't breathing anymore. I was a point 0.6 alcohol level, and I wasn't breathing. So they had to put a tube in my lungs to breathe for me, and
Uh,
then another tube in my stomach to like flush shit out. So it got really bad for me for a long time. But the way I approach it with the teens is instead of, I try to help them and give them advice in a way, but I think it's more of the example, seeing like I made it through that, and so many of my friends have died to overdoses, to suicide, and things of that nature. And I don't know why I'm still here and they're not, but that's why I feel so compelled to do that and work with them. And to circle back to wondering, that's why that song just really, really hit me. And I just want to say thank you for putting that out there. And the fact that you didn't hold back, which of course you won't, but the way, you worded everything, it was raw, and it just made me think of, I'm a big fan of Charles Bukowski, the writer, and his stuff is very visceral. And that's, it hit me the same way his writing does. So I really respect you for that. And thank you.
uh, Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, I
So
appreciate that.
thanks. So while we're talking about mental health struggles, I mean, like I said, you're transparent about what you've been through, and I mean, I know you're transparent about you still struggle, as do I. I still get depressed. I still have thoughts of like picking up drugs again, or once in a while the suicidal ideations might come back. So how have you, through the years, found? How did you find the way to kind of bring yourself back, kind of rein yourself in, and now how do you cope with it? I'm sure your kids play a big role in that, but can you tell
Oh
me a little bit
yeah,
about that?
the kids, you'd be like, that's you know. if they wasn't here, maybe it's time to go.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, but maybe wait till they're 18 or something. So give 'em all right, go. How the mother bird say, "Hey, go fly." Yeah, I'm
Right.
yeah, 18, time to fly. Daddy's out. you know, yeah. But yeah, I was just make it to 18. Guys, the kids 18.
So is it
My
just
first
your
my
kid?
first step was I got rid of all the Baphomet goats in my house. You know,
I should have moved it. No, but I keep it
I'm
real
just
too.
teasing, I was just playing.
But yeah, no, really, like if you don't mind, like I'm very fascinated in
Yeah,
people that
but the
have.
mind lies to you too, because then you get beat up in your head, and your mind starts saying, "Oh, maybe everybody's better without you. Maybe even your kid. Maybe a bad influence on your kids. Maybe
Mm,
you're too crazy. Maybe everybody's better without you. So your mind tells you crazy shit. So you start thinking everything worse than it is. So it's not always. Your kids don't always save you.
yeah,
So. So you got when the demons are in your head lying to you, you gotta make sure that you don't let them lie to you too loud, or you don't believe them, or whatever wording I'm trying to look for.
yeah, I
But you
feel you. Yeah,
gotta know that, hey, you know, they do need you. So
yeah,
people need you in the world. So
yeah. I appreciate that. And so, today, like you start the record out by saying, back in the day, like you had mental problems, and here you are. Like a lot of people couldn't have come back from that, and you didn't just come back. Like you come out with this record that's fucking. It's a hip hop iconic album already. Um, what would you attribute that to? Aside from your kids, is there anything else, or was it really just the kids that?
yeah, it's the competitive nature of hip hop where I came from, where it was always to top what was there. Like when DMC came out, they were trying to top, Houdini. And
Right.
when EPMD came out, they was trying to top. And then when Rakim came out, they was trying to top. This guy Kane came out. That was always trying to step it up another notch and step it up another
Right.
notch. It was more in modern hip hop where it goes, oh, we just kind of make music and whatever the vibe is, we're not competing with each other. It's like, but I'm not from that era. I'm from an era of stage dominance and show rocking, party rocking, whoever the best is in the building, whoever left the best imprint for the night. So if I'm going to do an album, it has to be high caliber, high level, or I don't feel like doing one. I don't ever want to do one again if it's not going to be high caliber level. And it is, when you're doing it independently, there's so much work attached to putting out the album and promoting the album and getting the videos done and trying to
Right.
figure out ways for the world to hear it. And because every time when you do it independently, oh, it's so underrated. It's such a great album, but it's underrated. It's like you get tired of hearing the underrated title. You want to be
For
like,
sure.
yo, you want to be appreciated for the work you do sometimes. So and there's
Yeah.
people like yourself who do appreciate that. So we appreciate you guys. Like I said on the damn song, I said, for every fan who said my music saved their life, it's for you. Without the love from fans, I'd be dead. You saved my life too. It's like
Right.
I eat off of you guys just as much as you eat off of me. It's like the whole circle. It's like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too that goes in your mind. You go, all these people are very committed to you and loyal to you, and if you give them something less and disappoint, and don't give them something that they could brag to everybody they know about being a fan of yours, you got to give them something that they're proud. Like, damn, yo, this is why I support him over these other rappers, because look at the shit he does. You got to give him that, or there's no reason to give him anything. Obviously, I could put out music that I'm not proud of for money. I could go to the studio next week, get 10 beats, rap to 10 beats in a week or two, and just release it and make a ton of money. Put it up on iTunes, make $100,000 off a new album, with no promotion, with no don't spend any money on studio, give some low quality shit, but I
Right.
can't do that. I take my money, I put it all into music videos, all into promotion, all into mixing and producing and bringing live musicians in and mastering. I just really make sure that it's top quality, as
Yeah.
top quality as it could possibly get. So,
Yeah. Which it absolutely is. So, lyrically, your flows are not only amazing, but your words, you're as degenerate as you might say you are, you're extremely intelligent and you're very well versed in the ways of the world.
well, on
And
record,
well, all right, so you do a good job on the record,
I
but
can't do it.
but
I
no,
don't. I don't function that properly in the real world. I'm a kind of bit of a mess. But on records, I could sound like I know a little something, huh?
definitely. But so that's what I want to ask is, I know like CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, this is all corporate or corporate monetized, whatever. Where do you go to, for your education? Where do you learn from? What is it reading? Is there sources?
All of the above. It's like you got to listen to every side. You have to listen to all narratives. You have to listen
Sure.
to, you have to read all type of historical events that actually took place and things that are debated and not debated. And you got to, and you can't just read one source and swear, hey, I know the truth because I read a book. You got, because the
Right.
guy who wrote that book might have an agenda. The guy that wrote that book might be ignorant. And I learned that from first hip hop, where like I've seen like all these writers, like hip hop people who supposedly are the professionals, right, on a craft that I've studied my whole life, and I know pretty much most of the history of it. And I see all the false information and false facts and screwed up timelines and all. Like I'm like, damn, these are the writers. They get everything fucking
Right.
wrong. So if they was
Right.
doing it in hip hop, I go, well, what the fuck are they doing with all of history? Like not just them. I'm talking about historians. So you're taking
Sure.
just reading a book. You can't just take the one book. You have to read if you really want to have an opinion on something. You have to take quite a few sides of it. And like you
Yeah.
said, you got the MSNBCs and you got the Fox, and you got one group of people that listen to the MSNBC because that's a um, super left, but not even left, super Democrat, like
Right.
uh, uh, fake ass news, and then you got the Fox who's super right, fake ass news. So it's like they have these agendas, and people want to go where they feel protected by the side of the story that they want to believe. So if you listen to Fox all new day, you're going to believe something. If you listen to MSNBC all day, you're going to believe something, and that's part of the division. There's really
Right.
no in the middle. Nobody's in the middle. Nobody tells you the news. They just want to tell you the news that is going to feed their agendas. They don't care about news. News isn't, the real news isn't important to them. They don't tell you the
Yeah.
real news, you know. So
Yeah.
you have to look around at everything, you know, and you see when you do that, you see so much. Oh, thanks, kiddo. You going to bed? All right, I got about another 15 minutes here. Yeah, the kids are all. What's? Oh, you printed that out? I got paperwork from Switzerland.
Right.
Uh, because I have to do a show there this weekend. And, with COVID, you have to bring all this strict paperwork to make sure you're working there for a reason or whatever. You just got to make sure,
Right.
right? So,
Well, so yeah, that's something I wanted to ask you about. Is it's great that you're able to get on the road and do live shows to support the record. What's it like now out there in Europe, doing these shows during COVID?
well, I lost all my tours, like everybody else.
Right.
The album dropped. It had great reviews. It got, a lot of fans. Everybody was talking about it. Not everybody, but, a ton of people talking about it.
Right.
It went number 3 on the commercial charts in on the R&B charts in England. It went number 22, Billboard US. Uh, So, you know, and like number one on all the iTunes charts when it dropped, it did great
Mhm.
all over the world, France,
Yeah.
Germany, and you know, but I couldn't tour off of it because of COVID. But that's the problem that everybody's
Right.
going through. But now, last week in Belgium was my first show. Finally, they did like
Right.
a COVID friendly show, and you know, nobody got COVID going to it. You're all sat in chairs and you wore your fucking masks, and it's not like what I like. I like to really interact and you
Right.
know, blood, sweat, and tears, and moshing, and bringing people on the stage to dance. And if somebody can spit really dope, bring them dope rapper up, bring a beatboxer from the street up. You know, like you
Yeah.
know, jump on chairs and hug people and sweat on people. Like my shows are really interacting with the crowd. That's what they always have been.
For
So
sure.
now what it is, you got to stay on the stage. And they said, oh, I was trying to get everybody to jump and scream, and they said, oh, you're not allowed to get them to jump. They have to stay seated.
It's
And I was like,
crazy.
well, it's an R ratio. They were jumping like crazy. It's like, yeah, next time we should have told you ahead of time, but you can't. So now Switzerland, I'm doing a show on Saturday, and I guess I'm not allowed to make them jump. But everybody, it had been so long since people had went to a rap show in Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Belgians were fucking hitting me up all week saying, oh, it was the greatest experience. It was legendary. It was awesome. So where I was kind of insecure, like, you know, that's not an RA show. But I knew everybody felt good. I knew everybody did have a great time. I knew it. Like when you
Yeah.
rock it, you know you leave knowing that they had a good time, but you're still like, damn, you know what I could have gave them? Like we would all but it's a new universe. It's a new world. Like this COVID friendly show is much better than me rapping on the internet to them. So
Right.
they're touching blood, they're this close, they're seeing me, and you know, so it's steps closer back to where we were at, and hopefully, I have my tours were for starting in April. I was going to get so many shows, they all got canceled and pushed to October. Then
Right.
October, most of them got pushed back to April again. So we'll see. Hopefully, my whole tour is started again in April, but we'll see what the world has to say about that. You know. So,
Cool. I hope you. I'm in Connecticut, so we don't get a lot of good hip hop. It's usually we have to go to New York or Mass, but hopefully we will see you around this area sooner than later.
Connecticut, my guy John Scully's out there.
Oh yeah.
He's a boxing. Uh, he fought for the title a few times. He was a contender, and then he trained a couple champions to become champion fighters. John Ice Scully, look him up.
I
He's one
will.
of the best guys I know. He's a really great guy. But he's a
Very
Connecticut. I went to his gym and we sparred a few rounds. You know, he kept it easy on me. You know,
cool.
you he's like, oh, that jab. But come on, you know, I'm jabbing him. But, you know, he's a professional fighter and he sparred with all the greats. So, and when he was a little kid, he was getting like, you know, pointers from Archie Moore, one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. And, you know, he met Muhammad Ali, all them, you know, so
Wow.
trained fighters to beat Bernard Hopkins. So, you know, my little stupid little. And plus, it was on tour, so like we stopped at his gym, and I'm doing my little jab for a couple rounds. But you know, those guys they used to doing 10, 12 rounds. I'm winded after like two and a half, three. Like oh shit, you know. And then he
Yeah.
threw like just play with me, pow, and I felt my nose kind of go. I was like, oh shit, if he wanted to put a little more power on that, he probably could have snap that shit. You know, professional fighters. People sleep on how you know they're professionals. That's what the fuck they do. You know, you
Right.
think a guy looks like a normal guy, but they're not normal. They're professional fighters. You
Yeah.
know,
Definitely.
you could be a tough guy rapper, but these are professional fighters. You know, so go in there with 3 rounds. Go in there 3 rounds with one of them guys. You know.
Yeah. I'm good. Thank you. um. So obviously you talk about the MAGA hats and Trump supporters on the record, but I also know you're not a fan of Biden, which I understand. What are your thoughts on this election? Like,
Well, it's
yeah,
exactly what you just heard. It's a mess. It's disgusting. And Biden's a
yeah,
horrible person,
I
you
hear
know.
you.
And I mean, he's a disgusting person, horrible person. and we're on this whole anti-police brutality movement. So they get like a DA, Kamala Harris, and they get Joe Biden, one of the strictest, crime bill motherfuckers. Like
Yeah.
so, like really, and they're oh yeah, we got to get them out. Like wait, are we on this anti-police brutality mission right now? Is this really what we're on, or is that fake? Because why are we gravitating now towards Biden and Kamala? So
Right.
it's and Trump is pro police brutality. That he's pro not just pro cop, pro police brutality.
For
There's
sure.
he,
Yeah.
he's had those statements where he said, "Oh, and when you put them in a police car, bang their head on the car," and like he
Yeah.
said this. He, Trump supporters no, he didn't. No, go Google the quotes. Go. There's video of him
Yeah.
talking about yeah, and when you get the criminal, put them and bang their head in the car and take them away. He's very you know, and the
The
death
good old
penalty.
days when they would take him out on the stretcher, he said at a rally for someone interrupting. Like,
Oh yeah,
very pro. Yeah. It was like last year, but it was crazy.
yeah. Yeah, so we got, supposedly yeah, there's no change. There's no change. And we're all gonna stay Biden and Kamala that they're pro war as could be. And Joe Jurgensen, she put up a cool meme the other day where it said, if the non-voters were in election 2016, I'm probably wording it wrong. And it showed all the states that it would be, they would have wiped the red and blue off the map if the non-voters voted. So it's like
Yeah.
everybody goes, oh, if you're a third party person, you're a vote for Trump or you're a vote. No, it's stupid idiots. Like, look at how many people you haven't tapped into that aren't voting. Why
Yeah.
don't these people, go and fight for their votes rather than yelling at Susan Sarandon. Yeah.
So I know we've only got a few minutes left. You mentioned the Dawn of the Dead poster. I write for Fangoria, which is awesome. I think we have a mutual friend in Tony Timpone over at Fangoria.
Oh, I
Um,
love Tony. I thought he retired though.
no, well, Fangoria just went through a shift with ownership. But yeah, no, he's going to be on the new. It premieres, I think, Saturday or Sunday night. The new series or season of Eli Roth History of Horror show, which he was on last season.
Oh,
But yeah, he's still doing stuff with
I
Fangoria.
guess he left the editor position for the guy Chris Alexander years ago, right? Was that what it
Yeah,
was?
right. So I don't know exactly what his title is, but I know he's still associated with it in some
Yeah,
way. I'm
yeah.
just a writer for them.
Tony's a sweetheart. He's a great guy. The first time I met Tony was they were screening Demon Night.
Nice.
Remember that movie Ernest Dickinson
Of
directed
course.
it?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I don't know where I was. Maybe it was a horror convention. And he's like, "Hey, you want to see this Demon Night movie?" It wasn't out yet. It was like a week before it came out. He's like, "We're gonna have a screening." So he gave me, and I was dating some purple hair girl. And me and the purple hair girl, we went to see Demon Night. And that's the first time I met Tony in person, I think. But we knew who each other was because he's friends with Frank Henenlotter, and Henenlotter is one of my dear friends. And
Cool.
so shout out to Tony Timpone. Yeah, I love Tony.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to let him know he came up in this conversation. But
Yeah.
so horror, I see you wearing like horror shirts in a lot of the pictures you post, which I love. Like horror is my genre. Like I love it. Um, I'm. It's just I'm actually working on a new book right now. It's a horror book, but also like how can we learn more about ourselves and use horror to become more integrated humans. And it's fun as hell because horror is more than just like splatter to me anyways. But what are some of your favorite horror films? Like I've seen you in a Phantasm shirt, I think, and I forgot what
Uh,
else, but
well, I love Phantasm. I went to
yeah,
see when they did the new the remastering on the big screen. That was a great night.
yeah, yeah.
Phantasm on the big screen, and it brought out all my childhood happiness. I was excited like a little fat kid at 10 years old all over again. I love Phantasm, and in fact, I'm a fan of the Phantasm films, and Don Coscarelli. I was in the studio, and Don Coscarelli was doing a book signing. I saw it on Instagram. One of the girls, I think, who's home girl? The girl, oh my God, the girl from Phantasm 2. How
Oh
the fuck?
shit.
I
Yeah.
feel like a piece of shit. She's awesome and she's beautiful and she's cool and she was a penthouse pet and yeah, but you know who I'm talking about. She was like, "I
I
love
do.
your bald
Yes.
head, Reggie. I love your bald head," and she, and then her hair came out at the end of the movie. But she had posted something. Oh, we're all Phantasm crew is doing a book signing at so I was like, oh shit. And I was in California. I'm like, fuck it. You know what? You were supposed to meet Don for years. Go stop by the bookstore. So I stopped by and I met Reggie and Don and the whole crew and cast of Phantasm. Not Michael, but everybody.
Right.
It was a really cool. Quick minute. I think the place was closing. I got there late, so 10 minutes. Don knew who I was because we communicate and he was like, "This is Ari the Rugged Man. He's a famous rapper." I was like, yo, Don, so that was nice meeting Phantasm, Don,
Yeah.
Don's the man. And no, I'm a big Frank Lot of fan. I love Frank and Hook. I love Brain Damage. I love Basket Case. I love Basket
Yep.
Case 2 even. I like 3 even, but I don't know. There's so many incredibly great horror films in history, so it's hard
Yeah.
to like. Which ones do you like? I don't know. You know which one? I'm not saying. Well, the original Cat People, the Turner, version. The
Yeah.
original
Hmm.
is one of the greatest films ever made, horror. But
Yeah.
I was just talking about the remake. I have like this love and hate relationship with the damn remake, the Paul Schrader version. It's like I watch it all the time. I watch it like every year or two or three, every 3 years for like since it came out. And I'm always like, is this the greatest or is it terrible or is it the worst or is it great or I hate this movie. I really like this movie and I think about it and then I put it like I'm like, should I watch The Cat People? Like, okay, no, it sucks compared to the original. Then I'm like, put it on and I'm like, is this movie great? I like it's one of these movies. Yeah, you have any movies like that where you like have a love hate relationship with it where you're like, is this great or is it what am I looking for? Like so I think it's really actually good. But I think because the original's so perfect, you start going, this is too much. They're doing too much. They don't need to do all of this. So the Cat People is the cat. But then you go,
Right.
nah, different picture. It's a different film he's making. So appreciate this film because it's not the Cat People. It's not the original film. So I just rewatched that recently, and I got the same thing. I said, I think I really like it this time. I think I like it a
Yeah.
lot this time. You know.
That's like
So
me with the Rob Zombie Halloween remakes. I catch a lot of shit for this, but I love the original. Halloween is my shit. But when Rob Zombie did it, I like what he did with it. John Carpenter said, "Make this your own," and I know John
I hate the
Carpenter didn't like
second
it.
one. Anything in the world.
See,
Did you like the
and
second one?
that's what. Yes, so that's what you're saying. Am I crazy? Is this awesome or is this terrible? Because I know the second one's super hated on, but I
Oh,
love it. And then I'm like, wait
really?
a minute, is it horrible? Like, so just exactly what you said is my
I
experience with that
hate
one.
it. I hate it so much. I remember the
Most people
first one.
do.
First one, it wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't dislike it. I said, whatever. And I liked the one scene when little Michael Myers had he had the mask on, so it was like
Right? Yeah.
kid Michael. I thought there was some cute moments like that, but like the second one, I really disliked it. Like I did, I remember sitting there like angry, like I disliked this movie, and I haven't seen it since. So I remember. Oh yeah, like you know what it is? Rob Zombie has this tendency, which is his style. Devil's Rejects, House of
Yeah.
Corpses, the House of Corpses. He makes everybody kind of unlikable. And all his characters are like unlikable. And yeah, but you gotta have somebody you kind of like in a movie. Somebody you relate to, somebody you want to fuck with, somebody that you care about. And Rob never does
Right.
that. But that's his style. I'm not,
Yeah.
not so Rob sucks because no. So I deal with it in some of his films, but then like part two, then he turns Loomis into like this terrible guy that's like this ego
Right.
maniac asshole
Right.
jerk, and and I was like, nah, now everybody has to be like. It's just like I don't remember much about it, but that's one of the things I said. Yeah, Rob, slow down. That everybody is dislikable on the planet thing in every movie, especially Halloween 2. Like you're making the Loomis character way less interesting. And what I hated about the
Right.
first one was the thing that's so great about Halloween the original is evil.
You don't know the
Evil.
backstory. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you don't even need because the backstory is that he's evil. That's scarier. But when he took all the horror cliches of a serial killer and put it in Michael. Oh, he's torturing an animal. Oh, he's seen his
Right.
mother have sex in front of a guy. Like that's every horror movie and like
Yeah.
the mother was doing sexy stuff in front of the kid. I was like, so he was taking all the cliches of serial killers and turned it into Halloween. I'm like, no, you just took everything that actually works from evil. Like the kid is born, he's evil. You took everything away from that and turned it into a psychological cliche of every cliche
Sure.
ever. So I wasn't a fan of the Rob Zombie Halloweens, but I respect that he's making the films. He was a musician. He had this huge, enormous career as
Right.
Rob Zombie and a great music career. And then he loved films. So he made this career and he gets everything financed and he makes movie after movie. So you can't knock his hustle. Like he's really like I respect Rob Zombie a lot, even if
Yeah.
some of his films aren't for me. Like so it's not like yeah, so I respect that he's a man that was able to do music, do movies, do all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm actually a
Yeah.
fan of the man more than
Just
I'm a fan of
the
the film.
films.
So yeah, yeah.
No, I respect that. I know I'm in the minority on that one, so I own it. So last thing, I know we're just about out of time, but uh, September 26th, you posted on social media that All My Heroes Is Dead will most likely be your final album. Is that? Do you think because you're feeling fatigued after it, or are you just feeling like you're done?
Well, I'm not done as an MC. I'm still going to be
Sure.
murdering everybody. But making an album takes, for me, it's a lot of draining and straining and like I know that sounds like pretentious, but it's not because
Oh, I hear
I'm
you.
not
Yeah.
formal with my thoughts. Like nothing's ever good enough and this and that. So it's like when I work on an album, I have to bring in I really go really deep into it, and then not the writing. The writing's the easy part. But
Mm,
uh maybe COVID's kicking me in the ass because I don't have
sure.
like what happens when I do an album, I go and that year I'll tour and do 150
Right.
shows. So I have money every night, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom. So I could take that money and reinvest it in myself. So I'll sit in the studio for hours and days and days and days and work on stuff. And you know, and right now I'm like, do I want to go and spend 2, 3 years locking myself in the room writing and locking myself in the studio recording and mixing and making something that I'm like, do I want to do that or do I take 3, 4 years of my life and find another venture and another thing. It's like I see a lot of the new school kids, the way they do it. This is what's also coming to mind is they do songs, they shoot videos, and they drop them. And the things get way more, if you drop one at a time, they get way more recognition per song. Where you drop 20 songs at the same time and everyone hears them at that time, and then, it kind of slows down. But if
Right.
I'm thinking maybe what I would do is make songs, and do videos and drop songs and try not no need to torture myself of making this perfect structured theatrical experience from every
Sure.
the reward might not be fully what it needs to. I don't know. COVID got everybody fucked up right now because
Yeah. Yeah.
we're in a different situation. It's a different universe, and now the internet and the attention span thing. You say, hey, if I make like, because I thought about it, I said if I took All My Heroes Is Dead and dropped one song every month after I made it with a video or something, would it have been even bigger? But it
Hmm.
just wouldn't have been an album. Or and that's also what happens is you drop things and then you work on things and then songs get leaked or songs get heard in studios
Yeah.
and then other people go, oh, that's interesting, and then they bite a flow and they work on things. So if you make the song, drop it, it's documented that you did it,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
rather than the song can't come out until the whole you know picture is worked out properly and makes sense. And So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll make a movie this year. I got a couple scripts, and maybe I'll just go to Belgium or Norway or one of these European countries and get a great DP and a couple really incredible actors and shoot something small and beautiful. Not beautiful. I'm not saying beautiful. The story so beautiful. I'm saying like I have a great DP that could really photograph it and make it look beautiful, and
Right.
some incredible actors that make your words sound like they're good.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I'm thinking maybe before I leap forward into locking myself in a studio for a year or two, maybe I'll do a feature film, lock myself in the house for a year and do a movie, or a couple movies, So
What just quickly, what genre would you be doing? Like what
horror,
calls to you? Horror?
horror,
Awesome.
horror. I have one biopic that that I'd love to make, and from a legend, but an underground legend, about an underground legend. And I always talk to her about doing it, and but the problem is that I can't make that small with a DP and a couple actors. It's like a big
Right.
picture. So like that, I want to just figure out, make a. I have to shop that one, and I don't know if I even want to direct that one. It's just a big, big picture. It's but I don't want to say nothing about who or what. But
Sure.
yeah, I got a really interesting biopic under my belt that I'm working on. But I'd want a budget for that. Like that's something where you got to go shop and get 10, 15 million and attach, a couple name actors to it and make it real. So
Yeah.
the other ones that I'm talking about, I'm thinking I can make for a couple 100,000, So
Well, my fingers are crossed that you get to do it. I'm sure it would be sick as hell. So, um, hopefully we'll see that. I'm really glad to hear you're not hanging up the mic. I got nervous when I read that post. So, yeah, everything
yeah,
you
but
said makes
I
sense.
just did my final album. I'm
Right.
like, I just recorded for Vinny Paz's album.
Dope.
I'm working with DV Alias Christ. I got a hand in. Uh, I got so much stuff that I'm finishing, and it's not out yet. So yeah, it's not hanging up the mic. It's just that I just don't know if I want to commit to a and I don't know if I want to do an album that's 10 songs and like 10 dope songs with an intro and outro. Fans would
Yeah.
love that too, but I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
Think that this was such a. I don't know. All My Heroes is dead. It's just that it's just the album I wanted to make.
Yeah.
So do you make something less than that? Do you let's just put out some dope songs and make some money off of it because the fans will buy it? No, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't
And I
know.
feel you when I finished listening to the record. I'm like, wow, where does he go from here now? Like, is it's a masterpiece, man. I'm not blowing smoke.
Thank you,
It's
sir.
like I
Thank
said,
you,
it's my
sir.
2020 record, no doubt. I even bought the vinyl and I don't have a record player. I bought, the download when it came out and I was like, yo, I
That
got to
dude
support
designs.
this.
You know him too, right? You know who that is,
Who?
right? That
Who?
dude designs, the guy that did the
No.
cover.
Oh, the cover art. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's a beast, man. He did Hobo with a Shotgun, that artwork.
I love that. Hell yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Rucker
he did.
Hauer, I think.
The Blu-ray artwork for They Live, the really good
Yeah. Yep.
Blu-ray. He did that. I mean, he did
Oh,
tons of
wow.
poster. He did the poster work for uh the the HB Lovecraft, Jesus Christ, Hardware, Richard Stanley movie, Color of
Oh, Color
yeah,
Out of
that one.
Space.
Yeah, yeah, he did the artwork for that all those vibrant colors and stuff,
That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, he's a great artist, and he blessed me with my best album cover. I was like, wow, so
Yeah, I
yeah,
copped the shirt with the cover on. I had to. It's so dope. So, yeah, very cool, man.
thanks,
Well,
brother.
RA, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for being real as always. And as tired as you are, I really appreciate you, showing up and doing this. And
No, it's all
yeah,
good. This is easy.
cool.
You know how many times like I'll be this tired and I have to do a concert.
Ugh,
I'll be like,
I don't envy you for that.
all I got to do is sit on the couch and talk. We could do that. Plus, you know what? We weren't doing this, no debating. You know,
Right.
like if you're fried and you have to debate somebody, then you're like, you know, like you're not looking to for gotcha moments of me saying something stupid. So you know, it's easy.
Oh no, no, I'm a fan. I I know your lyrics. I know where you're coming from, and I love it. Respect all of it. Appreciate all of it, and just appreciate you for putting that out into the world and really
What are your
touching a lot of
favorite horror
lives.
movies before you go?
Favorite horror movie? I
Yeah, well, not
original
movie, but
Hollow.
movies. Oh,
What were you saying? Sorry.
no, not movie, just movies. Like, what are some of the ones? Because just naming one is tough most of the time, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, yeah, no doubt. For me, I love Fulci. I love Argento. I love a lot of the Italian and French horror because it's just extra gnarly. But there's great American films too. I love.
Bava, Italy. You like Mario Bava's films?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
pretty much
he's the,
any of that stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which French ones are you talking about? Like
Um. Why am I drawing a blank right now? The one that my fiance refuses to watch.
Inside or whatever that one.
No. A more recent one that I loved was High Tension. I thought that was a really good film.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Aja.
but back, yeah. But before, oh my god, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank. Starts with an M, and I'm
Oh,
gonna
oh
think
yeah,
of it.
Martyrs, Martyrs.
Martyr. Jesus Christ, how did I
Yeah,
forget?
yeah,
Yeah. So like Martyr, like I love stuff like that. It's just like I
yeah.
said, real gnarly. But yeah, she won't watch that with me. She loves horror, but not that. So
My friend Frank is you know, he directs under Aja's wing. You know, he did
oh cool.
the Maniac remake for
Yep.
Aja. Frank Calhoun. He's a close friend of mine, but he's actually in High Tension. You know the guy that gets killed at the there's a scene, a guy that gets killed at like a convenience store or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
They gets an axe in the stomach or something like that. But that's Frank. He's the director
Oh cool.
of he directed P2 and he directed you know the other one I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maniac remake, but he's a good guy. He was directing rap videos back in the day, and now yeah,
That's the
I think
thing I find in horror is I've interviewed like most of the legends from Kane Hodder to Doug Bradley, Bill Moseley, George Romero before he passed, Ken Foray last year from Dawn of the Dead, and
that
all
of
these
course
people.
from
There,
Beyond.
there's yeah, exactly, yeah, but they're all like such good people. Like some of the sweetest people. Like I interview all different kinds of people, and you know, often sometimes I get like a real douchebag, but I find in the horror genre, I've never been let down. Like even Danny Trejo when Machete came out, I sat down with him for like an hour and a half. We had 15 minutes scheduled, and literally we connected and we got into stuff. And what a good
Yeah,
dude, like
our
super
community is
solid.
awesome, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Well, RA, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. And again, thanks for everything you do in the world. And, looking forward to hopefully seeing you back on the road here in the States sooner than later. So till then, take good care of yourself, your family, and be well.
Thank you, and thank you for all the kind words you said about my new record. It means a lot. I'll talk to you soon.
For sure. Thank you, man.